all
Okay.
5 of our Padlets on here, so it gives you the actual website. But also, if you ever get an email from us, like if I was gonna create a new email, it's gonna be right here. Here's my link.
And I'm working on putting
And
that on
every,
there, so,
or if you go to the old Bell Manor website, it'll pull up, you know, how it's always done before, but that's gonna go away. We've got a link on the website too, so it'll just say, go to our Padlets, and the Padlets have everything on them. This one's my Padlet, and Miss Marshall's, I'm gonna show you, it's the same thing, I think, did you
It's
send
just,
it?
I haven't done the format, no, I didn't change the format, it's still on
Format's
that
a little different.
stream, yeah.
But we have the mission statement and the strategic goals. And then I've got, because the kids in my class have 3 rotations, here's the 3 teachers that they see, and that's the link to their Padlet, so if you need the reading or the language arts. And then don't y'all have,
Mhm.
there are 2-person rotations, so
Mine-
she'll have
It's
hers
Marshall
on that.
Thacker, so.
You can, if you ever lose the homework, you can just pull it up and it'll print off. You can download it. I've got the Moose, and it's for the entire week. And I know Miss Thacker and Miss Marshall do it different. I only teach math, so I'm only gonna put math on here. But they go ahead and they fill in all the subjects for you, so you don't have to hop back and forth. The newsletter is on here. School rules is on here. If you're not getting the Remind updates, I send just messages periodically, school pictures. I sent one today saying the meeting was tonight from 6 to 7. So
And
this is instructions on how to get to the Remind.
I had a problem with Remind 101 because I was set up as a parent and I couldn't get it to let me set up as a teacher and a parent, so I just got that fixed within the last day. So I don't have anything on there other than I've sent out a link. So if you see the link come through, just know things will come, so.
I have on here how to access FastMath at home. That's the computer program that the kids use in the computer lab 3 days a week. Here's the 3 strategy posters that you're going to see around the room. Everything we do, we started off with place value. We did it together. I had it up, so I went ahead and put it on the Padlet, so that way you can see it. But this is in their journals also. And then we've just done the addition and subtraction strategies, so I went ahead and put those on there. Book orders, here's the FastMath Next Generation. If you, come on in, this is 3rd grade.
How about 4th grade?
4th grade is a couple doors down. If you are interested in seeing your child's grades online, they have a specific username and password. You'll have to get to the office to get through get your username and password, but here's the link to do the Home Access Center, and that I use all the time. Oh, where'd it go? Don't go away. There it is, sorry. Prodigy is just a math games that I sent out. I sent every student a username and password, and it just, I put addition and subtraction story problems on there, and I put rounding on there.
When you sent that, was it online or you sent it home with them?
It is stapled in their Moose. It's like a little thin
We'll
strip.
do it. We're just not there yet, we'll do it.
Okay.
I just found that out.
Yeah.
So it was brand new to
we
us
just haven't had a
last
chance
week,
to
so
do
I
it.
just went ahead and set it up. We're going to get into multiplication, so I went ahead and put this on there today just because I want to show you that this is going to be coming home with your child. It's blue, not yellow. Next 6 weeks, we're going to be doing multiplication, so this is going to be coming home with them in a sheet protector. So I went ahead and put that on there.
It won't be till it'll be closer to our winter break session, so.
Gonna be the whole time stable or just like until 6 or?
Through the 12s.
Through the
Yeah,
12?
Through the 12s, yeah. TAPS, if your children have been talking about TAPS, that's the problem-solving component to word problems that we're doing. And this is step-by-step how we teach them how to do TAPS, so how we want them doing the word problems. When they come home with homework, we want them doing this every time. That's why you'll see, circle keywords, check it off. Did you write an equation? Did you do a strip diagram? Did you show your work in chunking the problem, number line, however you solved it? We want to see more than just the answer. We don't want them using a calculator to do it. So we want to know how they solved the problem, and these are the steps that we talk about with them. This right here is the STAR reference chart. That's what will be on the third grade STAR test that they will be able to use to work out their problems. They actually tell them to tear that page off, and it'll be side by side whenever they take the STAR test. So if you ever want just access to it, that's what they're going to use. And then this, I just put on, I found it from Miss Smotherman today. These are just activities you can do at home with your child, but it's skills that they should have learned in second grade. So it's skills that we're not teaching, but we build on. So if you ever want to just kind of look at those, it's got money, it's got addition, subtraction, word problems, all kinds of stuff. You can just look at it. It's very elementary compared to what we're doing, but we build on every one of those concepts. So it's just something fun you and your child can do. Anyways, and that's all I've got on mine, but we add to it every day. Miss Marshall?
And I don't have a lot to add.
Do you want me to scroll through, do you want to talk about it? or-
Mine's very basic compared to hers, and actually the format and everything's going to change. Mine's more personal in the beginning. But as you go down, I have posted a lot of the same things. I do have the moose every day. I do have art of the week. I do have there's the reminder about tonight. There's the calendar for the month. There's your homework. That's the school newsletter. There's your moose, and yes, it's everything. There's our newsletter. We journal a lot, so what's on the wall, this is just a copy of what's in their journal. They're journaling in class, the same things that we're doing.
Are the kids switching back and forth between you two?
No,
Okay,
no.
We both teach math.
okay.
I teach math, science, and social studies because it's just me and Miss Thacker that switch,
Okay.
but then she and the other two teachers switch. So they have 3 rotations where we only have.
Who's your child?
Olivia Williams?
Okay, so she sees me for math, and then she sees Miss Carol and Miss Willis.
Okay.
And that's just more of the same. And then that's next week's newsletter. So I'm still in the process of building mine. You did a lot today.
I was playing with it. I love this thing. I just love it because it's got everything you need, and instead of the old website where you have to click back and forth and find links, it's just so easy to navigate.
Yeah.
So
Is the website on here?
it is. It's on your newsletters right here, and then there's a link on our websites to get here, and it's also under our emails. So then from there, we're going to move into this 6 weeks, and you should have a packet from the back. We started off with place value. My Vanna wife. We started off with place value. They had a place value money test not too long ago. They should have brought it home and showed you. I know there were some concerns, but place value is a very difficult concept, especially when they go from second grade and then coming here and have to learn all the way through the 100,000s position. So they had a couple of forms that they needed to learn. These are also on the Padlet, one of the posters. Standard form is just where they're writing the digits. Expanded form is where they take every single digit and they have to tell what the value of the digit is. So what I tell them to do is first they have to label what place value these digits are in. So they'll label, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. That's always the first step. So then they know if this 2 is in the 100,000 spot, they're going to start with expanded form, and its value is 200,000. Then we're adding to each digit. This 1 is in the 10,000 spot, so its value would be 10,000. The 3 is in the thousands, so its value is 3,000. Then you go down to the hundreds, so we've got 300. And Sophia, how much is the 8? Very good, love you. And then the 7 is in the ones. So, I know that's very long, but that's all expanded form was. It was just taking the value of every single digit and telling us what it was. Expanded with multiplication, I know I've got some questions on that. they don't have to be proficient in multiplication all the way up to 100,000s. It's only through the 12s, and we haven't even studied. But all they're doing is taking the digits, so this 2 is in the 100,000 spot. So in order for me to get this 2 to 200,000, I would multiply 2 by 100,000, and that gives me the 200,000. All it is a digit
In the
in
value.
the value.
That's it.
So the digit is in the 100,000 spot. And then you just add on, again, the 1 is in the 10,000 spot, so it's 1 times 10,000. And then so on. So I've got, I know this is a big number, 3 times, and it's in the 1,000 spot. And we did lots and lots of practice with this. And when they saw it, they told me it was very, very scary. But I told them that the parentheses, will you keep on my ear?
Yeah.
I told them the parentheses were like hugs, they hugged them together, so it became their favorite form. So 8 times 10, and they have to hug it together. And then the 1 is in the, or the 7 is in the 1's place, 7 times 1, hug it together. So their parentheses are hugs. Yes,
It seems like this is just repetition is needed.
it is.
And, cause my daughter, you know, just speaking for a living right now, she catches on pretty quick, but if you zoom past it, it's not gonna really be retained. So for me, you can give her 10 worksheets, because she's gonna learn with repetition, doing it over and over and over again. So I don't see her, are there any forms that I can print out to where I can have her 20 minutes a night in repetition? It looks familiar.
I don't have any worksheets per se, but knowing that you're going to the 100,000s, if y'all wanna practice this, it's just a 6-digit number.
Yeah.
So you could just give her
Right.
10
Yeah, right,
6-digit
right,
numbers.
okay.
and-
Yeah, I'm gonna print some out,
And
yeah, 'cause
then-
I'm just, yeah,
That way
Take
it's-
another paper and write it.
yeah.
Yeah. That's all, I mean, I know, I've got numbers all over the room,
Yeah,
and that's what I
right.
tell them. They have seen this so many times.
Yeah.
I've repeated myself till I'm blue in the face, but they've got it. It's just, honestly, that test, it looked, the grades weren't very favorable. But when we went over the test with them, they were kicking themselves, because they were like, I knew that, I just got the wrong form. And I'm like, I know, multiplication, hugs, standard, it's just the digits. And it's funny because I had this up and then there's another white one over there, they're exactly the same. I said, look at the posters, they're labeled. They were just mixing up the forms, they know the information. They just were putting the wrong form down. So, and it's so confusing for them, because they're like, well, they're all expanded form. Yes, they are all expanded form.
Yeah.
Here's your hint, multiplication hugs. On this one, combination, this one's the toughie. You're gonna hate me when you see it. But it's just, I don't know what else to say. It's just, they know the value of the digits, and that was our goal. The problem is, with the Texas
Translating
Tees, we have to make them understand the different forms that they could possibly see the numbers in.
Yeah.
And they're just confused on what form is what. So we're gonna keep on, and these will stay up, and we're gonna keep repeating ourselves. In fact, we're gonna have our first CBA assessment, October 3rd.
It's
October 3rd. It's not next week, but the following Tuesday. And it's gonna have place value on it. And it's also gonna have all the addition and subtraction strategies on it. This one is the hardest one of all, for them. I hate this one. Okay. Expanded with combinations. We just tell them, you know what, this is really long, and it's a lot to write out. This is really long, it's a lot to write out. So I don't wanna have to write all that out. So if I've got this number, I'm just gonna write it down here so I can move it up. I've got 213,387. I want to combine these two digits so I don't have to do 200,000 and 10,000. So we tell them, well, let's combine those two numbers. That is 21, and whatever this digit is, that's the last name that I give him. That 1 is in the 10,000 spot. So this is 21 10,000s. Instead of 200,000s and 1 10,000s, it's the same thing as 21 10,000s. And then I may even combine these two numbers. I don't want to write 3,000s and 300s, so I'm going to write 33. Whatever this digit's place is, that is the last name. So it would be 33, that 3 is in the hundred spot. So that's 33 hundreds. And then I can also combine the 87. And 87, 7 is in the 1 spot.
What's the difference between this form and the Word form?
I just didn't put words
Word
on there.
form is
There is a
all
word
words.
form, it's all
Yeah,
words.
all
It's,
words.
the numbers are
words.
written in words, everything.
Guys not gonna learn about that, like the Word form, is not gonna learn about the Word form?
We
They
do
will.
teach that
They
as
will.
well, yeah, we've taught that as well, it's another, one of the forms.
It's just one we didn't
Yeah,
put
I
on
mean,
there.
there are, if you look behind your head right there, I'm sorry, on the white poster, there are
The
a few
orange.
more up there, and in orange it says word form. So, yeah.
And this one, expanded, okay, so this right here is expanded, I'm kind of combining two. It's expanded with the words, but with combinations. So the other two forms, you would actually write out with words, 200, 13,000, 387. Or if you do the expanded with words, this would be 200,000s plus 1 10,000 plus 3,000s, and it's just a lot.
Yeah.
And if
So
you,
we're condensing that. and
if you look behind him, in the green, the light green, a lot of my students want to do that one where it's the number and the word of the place
Yeah.
more than anything. And that's a word-number combination, but it's not a combination of places.
This is something new for this year because I used to like work as a teacher assistant in New York, and this is new for me.
It's new for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know if they saw this in second grade or not.
Oh,
I
they
know
did.
that in second grade, they teach them
Yeah, I don't
standard
think
form,
so.
and I know they teach them this expanded form, because I remember teaching that long ago, but it wasn't to this
No.
place value. I'm pretty certain they taught word form. I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
combinations.
last year they did the 10,000s. So this is, that's what scared most of mine, is seeing that extra digit just going out one step further is a little intimidating, but.
And, okay, just addition and subtraction. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on these. Making 10 and add the rest. If there was 14 plus 6, we tell them to try to make a 10 first. And at the beginning of school, I know the first 2 weeks, you may have seen sheets coming home where they were making 10, then making 20, then making 50. We were just teaching them to go to a 10. So we would tell them, okay, I know 4 and 6 is 10. So if 4 and 6 is 10, and I've got a 10 here, it's easier for me in my head to do 10 plus 10 than it is to try to do 14 plus 6. So it's just trying to teach them like just a number to go to. And they're not all gonna work that way. It's just sometimes you're gonna see combinations. And I don't know if you do it, I do it at the grocery store. If I know that something, oh, there's a 7 and a 3, oh, there's a 9, it's
Or a
just,
friendly number or something.
Friendly numbers,
Friendly
exactly, that's what
numbers.
we say, friendly numbers, or compatible numbers. We'll use
Yes.
those two words, or those phrases interchangeably.
doubles plus 1, doubles plus 2, they saw that in second grade. If you know 6 plus 6 is 12, then 6 plus 7 is that same doubles and add 1 more. 6 plus 8 would be the same double, add 2 more. So it's just, they know their doubles from second grade, so that's pretty easy for them. Subtraction with zeros, they did that in second grade. We're fixing to really hound on that
Yes.
next week. So if they had, I don't know, 120 minus 72, they've got a 0. And I'll ask them, can you take 2 away from 0? And some of them will say yes. I'm like, okay, everybody hold up 0. Now take 2 away. We can't. Well, you just told me you could. What are we gonna do? So we teach them the borrowing. They saw that in second grade. I don't know
Yeah.
what place value they went to,
Yeah.
but we tell them to, you go, you take a 10, And essentially, we took out the blocks and we took an actual 10, we broke it apart, show them that that 10 is the same thing as 10 units or 10 ones. So now I only have 1 10 left, moving it over to the tens, or the ones position. And we want to get away from just saying put the 1 in front of the 0. What does that mean? Oh, I'm taking those 10 units and I'm moving them over here. Now I have 10 units over here. So now I can physically take 2 away from them. So don't just say, just put the 1 over there. They need to understand why. So then, you know, you're 10 minus 2, and then here I've got it again. Oh, you've got 1 10, but I need to take 7 away. How am I going to do that? Oh, we've got 100. Well, how many 10s are in 100? Break it apart. We're going to take one of those 10s, you know, or we're going to take that 100. We're going to break it up. I'm going to have now 10 10s, but I already had a 10 over here. So if I have 10 10s and I have another 10, how many do you have? Oh, well, there's 11. So it's not just put the number in front. So then you've got your 11 minus 7.
When you teach them, this is 11 tens or 11 ones, like,
It's 11
I know,
10s.
like, they
and you're
understand
taking
this is the
7
base
10s.
value, this is 11 tens, not one, like 11 ones.
That's what you're saying, yeah, I'm going, well,
It's a little bit hard when the like 0 in the 1 place and 0 in the 10 place, this is a
Well,
little
we're trying to
hard.
get them away from saying like, that's a 2. We want them
Yeah.
to say, that's really a
2 tens,
20.
yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
20.
It's
So,
gonna match with the base value.
yeah, so we just have to make sure that they're understanding where it is, its position. That
Yeah.
digit might be a 2, but its value is a 20.
20.
So we really try to emphasize that.
Any questions about that so far? The next page is where we're really going to start, and I know this is a huge packet. We're going to try to get through one page, and it's just going to give you lots of extra examples. Huge, because then you've got it, and you can practice. It's got problems you can take home to your kiddos.
That's a good idea.
We've got representations and how to solve them. So, like I told you on your homework a few minutes ago, I want keyword circled. I want them to write an equation. I don't care what it is, write an equation, even if it doesn't say write an equation. I want them to draw a strip diagram or draw something to show me how they're figuring this problem out. On this problem, there's a packet right back there if you want to grab it.
And pencils.
And pencils. Amy counted all the stickers in her collection. There were 382 happy face stickers. Her friend Jill gave her 298 animal stickers. How many stickers does Amy have in her collection now? So we teach them, well, what's important in that word problem? She counted all the stickers. That's great, but it's not really important. There were, oh, this is probably important, so I tell them to circle the keywords. 382 happy face. And if you looked on their homework, I make them even take notes. I would put like a little happy face equals 382. So because I don't like to look back at this, I like to have me a little list.
I do the same thing. I still emphasize and model that every day. So if you have one of my students, please emphasize that at home to make the list.
Yeah.
It helps them keep track.
I wish I had room to write it. So I would have actually done, oh, happy face is 382. To her friend Jill gave her 298 animal stickers, so I would have circled this. I would probably put an A for animal because I'm not about to try to draw one.
Nope.
Equals 298. Okay, I'm pulling out the information. How many stickers, not how many elephants, how many turtles, how many birthday cakes, how many stickers, this is always going to be your label, does Amy have in her collection now? So it's telling me, the first thing we're going to do is ask the kiddos, well, what's happening in the story? Well, I've got this and I've got this. Well, what does that mean? Oh, I'm jumping ahead, sorry.
Okay.
Represent with a strip diagram. I just go off on a tangent, I'm sorry. Okay, strip diagram, so we'll talk about it. Okay, there's groups of smiley face stickers, there's groups of animal stickers. I'm looking for my total. So they can, I know in second grade they did part whole, where it might look something like this. In third grade, where it's gonna look more like this. Either way is fine. But part whole, all that means is the whole is your total. I don't know what my total is. I don't know how many total stickers I have, so I might just put S for stickers. I know one part is 382, so that would come here. I know the other part is 298. And I know that these two parts put together are the same thing as this whole. And then third grade, it's just, it takes this box, and it's the same thing, but it's a line. There's my stickers, 382, 298.
And it's funny, and some of the answer choices on CBAs and DBAs and things like, and even the STAR, they'll put that bar, they can do it either on top or on bottom, and just moving it to the bottom would throw them off. So I'm keep emphasizing, it can be here or here, because it's just any variation in anything we've said to them, and it can totally skew their understanding, so,
Change it up all the
yeah.
time. And on the CBA, the reason we want them drawing these script diagrams is they're gonna get to word problems and it'll say, find the script diagram that matches this equation. So they may have one that has the 386 on the top, the stickers here, and the 298. The numbers are gonna be all mixed up, and they've gotta know, okay, well, what am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for the total, so, you know, this is not gonna have a number in
She
it.
helps him with his homework, and she's just like, this crap is.
I'm like, you have to do a script diagram for everything. I'm like, if you haven't done it, you better write it down, so.
Yeah.
So they really need to get familiar with drawing these on every problem to represent it.
I understand it, but
It was just on freehanded. All I remember growing up was just freehanded.
yeah.
382 was the main thing. Gave. That means adding. 382 and 298, you just freehand write it out and you get your answer.
And I told the kids, I don't know if they came home and told you, but when we did these strategies, I said, you're the teacher now. Go home to your
But
parents
they
and
do
say,
go faster.
I said,
On board.
yes.
I don't like it, but let's go
I
faster.
told them, I said, I'm so old,
What's your
I'm
method?
older than your
Faster
mamas.
than the
You go home, they only taught me one way, stack to attack. You stack the
We're in
numbers, you
5
add, you
now.
subtract. I said, your job is to go
We didn't
teach them
have
this.
options.
Don't let them stack it. You have to teach them these strategies.
Sorry.
And to read a report card.
I just told them, no, do it like this.
I know.
It's simple math.
It's
I tried to
different.
make it
Saying
show
the old
that
fashion and
this
new
is-
fashion.
This actually just tells us they understand how the problem is set up.
Yeah.
They're not solving.
They're not
it.
solving it here.
This just, I understand that it's two parts and I have a total, or I have a total and I'm missing a part. So it's how they can show us they get what they're reading. It's a comprehension test, basically.
Oh, okay.
Represent with equation, that's where you're writing the number sentence as you're reading the problem. So there were 382 happy face stickers. And this is where you're gonna say, oh, that's what I did. Okay. And she gave her more. Well, if you gave her more, what action's happening? Oh, am I combining? Am I separating? Or am I comparing numbers? Oh, I'm combining them.
Yeah.
So what operation is that? That's addition.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm adding. And then
Alright.
the next sentence, she gave her 298. Oh, now I want to know the total equals. So there's the representation on that equation. And that's what you've learned. And we did one today on the homework. They got so confused on it. Which one was it?
Man, they make you guys
Okay,
count so
this
long.
one.
This first one.
This is
not
the first
necessary.
one. Sophie collected marbles. Well, I said, how many marbles does she have? Well, I don't know. Well, you have to put something for your equation. And they're like, well, what do I put? I don't know what to put. Well, what's marbles? So we had to lead them to, well, I don't know what she started with. So there's my box. Okay, she won 18 more. Okay, I'm winning, I'm combining. We figured it out that it was plus 18. Then now she has 64. So that was my equals 64. So there's going to be times where it's going to say sum, or you're not going to know the first number. You don't want to automatically jump to subtraction because this is technically a combining problem.
Exactly.
I'm still combining these two numbers, but you teach them how the strategies, that's what we're doing, the strategies, how to flip it around and solve it afterwards. But this is still representing that story problem.
And this ties into tabs that you're going to see posted on our Padlets, and the kids talking about is, I understand what the problem's saying, how it's set up.
Mhm.
I may solve it with subtraction, but that's what it says.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. There's two number lines. You can represent it, drawing it. When we solve it on a number line, I actually want the numbers. So you'll start with 382, and it's solving with chunking. So if I know I have to add 298 to this, I ask them, well, what's the biggest number in there? What's the biggest value? Well, that 2 is in the 100 spot. What's the value of that 2? Oh, it's 200. Let's jump 200 and see what we land on, like little frogs. Okay, I've used, and usually we do this 200 plus 90 plus 8. You do that too?
Mhm.
Okay. So I've used my 200. Well, what did we land on? 382 plus 200 is what? Come on, somebody tell me. 582, there you go. Now, what can I do? I want to get this 82 to a 10, so it's a friendly number, because it's hard for me to add 90 to 82. Well, what can we go to? We could go, oh, let's go 390. Well, what would I need to get to 390? I need 8. 390. Oh, looky there. We took out our 8.
But it-
It's 590.
Yeah, no, I'm confused on that.
You're
I
trying to
lost
get
you.
to an easier number.
They're trying to get to an easier number to
So
work with.
It's
Would
590.
be easier
You said
numbers.
390.
Oh, fine.
Already,
5,
yeah.
sorry.
Okay, yeah,
5.
that's, sorry.
590.
Okay, yeah.
Is that where I missed you? I looked right over here and saw that.
We thought we missed you at the friendly number.
It's
Sorry.
almost 7 o'clock at night. Okay, 590. Got it. So we've taken out our 8. Now I can easily jump 10s, but I still wouldn't even tell them to jump 90 positions. I would tell them, well, what's easier to add? Let's get to 600 first, because it's much easier to add on from 100. So they'd tell me, oh, well, I have to add 10 here to get there. I've got to take that 10 out of my 90. So if I take 10 out of my 90, I have 80 left to jump. And then I can easily add my plus 80 to get 600 plus 80.
I didn't like it on the step.
Sorry.
Chunking is so, don't you? We love chunking, Angel Face, but it actually, it goes hand in hand with this. I should have done this chunking to show you first. Now I'm doing 600.
See?
382, I am way past time to go home. Okay.
You've been at school 12 hours already.
298. So here's what we would have done first. You know, first I'm gonna jump 290 plus 8. I'm gonna jump that 200 first. I'm gonna add it first. 200 equals, there's your 582. I've used 200 of it. This number is very hard for me mentally to add on to, so that's where I would have tried to get to a friendly number. So I'm going to start with my 582. What do I need
Let's see.
to add to get to 590? And that's where they would have told me, oh, you need to add 8. And most of the time, this isn't going to be an 8.
No.
We'll have to break this up also.
Yeah.
So I'm adding 8, it just happened to work out that way. So if it was a 9, if this was a 9 up here, I would have told them, okay, X out that 9, it is 8 and 1. I know. But it's not, I'm just telling you, it's not always gonna be an 8, it's not always just gonna be easy for them. Like this next step, the 590, which is where y'all got confused down here, I can't just mentally do as a 3rd grader, 590 plus 90. It's much easier if I start at 600. So I need to get to 600. What can I add? That's where you get your 10. Well, I don't have 10 up here. I have 90 up here. So you break your 90 up. 90 is
Somebody gonna miss a
10.
number. It's gonna be off.
and
it's.
8. Yeah, right.
Can we not just add still, or is it, what's the purpose? It
That's
goes
the
faster when they learn
No, it's not
this? Because I still wanna put my numbers here,
Because
here,
believe it or not,
and
some
ball and
kids,
add it.
Because some kids can't do that.
they can't. There are some kids who to them, that looks like this does to you.
And
And what percentage is that though?
Oh, yeah, and do you let them have credit for either one? If they do it
Well-
this way or this way?
Here's the deal. Here is what you're doing. You're stacking to, the stack to attack strategy
That's you.
is what you're doing. So that is
So I just got two
382,
numbers now.
298.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
stack to attack.
And it's been working for a long time.
But,
Yeah.
right. We had long conversations, especially when chunking came in.
Yeah.
And you can attest to this. We had long conversations, and I told them, this isn't Miss Boyd's brain. I don't work this way. And we started talking about what strategy do you like? Well, a lot of them like the number line, believe it or not. They draw number lines
A lot of
here, and
kids,
they
they make a
attack in
mistake.
my class. And some
A lot
kids
of
do
kids,
like
they
that.
make a mistake.
All we're
Yeah.
doing, all we're doing is giving them something else to use if this becomes confusing.
So they don't have to though, right?
That's what I'm saying, if they
Right.
use the chunk, or
That's-
if they use
but
their,
they-
whatever on
But then you don't
charge
have to do
or
it on Star.
grading.
They're gonna have to do it, they're gonna have to solve the problem on Star Test.
Okay.
They're gonna have to solve the problems here. We want them to have as many different strategies in their little,
And it's
Pocket
not
as
all
they
if they
possibly
stack it.
But they also have to be able to recognize things. That's the thing. They have to have been exposed to it, they have to have worked with it, they have to understand it,
Yes,
they have to be
Shannon
able to
and I fight
recognize
almost
it.
nightly on math.
Okay,
That's not how we do it, Mama, that's not how you do it. And I'm going, well, that's how I know, we have the same answer, we just get about it differently.
right, and I tell mine what she tells hers.
Tell them mom's
This
not
isn't
wrong.
how I say I'm old school. I grew up
Yeah.
in the 70s, I learned how to stack.
Yeah.
One time that didn't make sense to me, but I eventually figured it out, and now that's what's most comfortable. But some people learn differently, so I said, we expose you to all these different strategies because of that.
And some of it's actually faster, or,
For some people it is, because their mind works differently and they see things differently. But, like I said, they will be seeing things like this on answer choices.
And have to
And they have to be able to
recognize,
recognize
right.
that's what that is. But if they haven't been exposed or haven't worked with it at all, they're gonna see that and go, I have no idea. So that's why, because they have to be able to recognize. It can be, I tell them, it's like jumping in the car and saying you're headed somewhere. You've got to have a map, you've got to have an idea of how to get there. These are different ways to get there. There's not always just one way to get there.
so the two problems you should help every night, we should be able to do them 3 different ways, right? So
Could.
actually 6
they sure they totally
problems.
could.
to-
And when they come to class, I've gotten to the point where, I ask them, what strategy did you use? And
Yeah.
we kind of just tally around the room, and they were all doing one, so I would purposely not show that one on the board.
Yeah,
They're like,
different
well,
way,
wait a minute,
yeah.
that's not how I did it. Well, did we get the same answer? Yes. Is yours wrong? No.
No.
Is mine wrong? No.
Okay.
And then, so they're starting to do that. They're starting to go home and, well, I'm gonna do 2 strategies because I want the one she's got on the board. Well, good for you, you just learned to do it twice. Awesome for you, but I'm gonna do the other one still. And it works, and it's also a way of them checking themselves. Well, if I got the answer
Right, yeah,
here,
check it, yeah.
let me do
yeah.
it this way. Did I get the same answer? Uh-oh, if I didn't, something's wrong.
But
And-
just to be clear, if they got this on the star's not gonna say solve the problem using the clunking method, they're gonna be able to do it the way they wanna do it, right?
Correct. Now, on our CBAs, I don't know, a lot of the problems they will give them, and the answer choices will be like 4 different chunking ways.
Yeah.
And so they'll have to take the chunking ways, add it together, figure out if that matches the problem. So they're gonna have to recognize it on CBAs. And with STAR, they could possibly have
Or do it in
4
your head.
different,
Just-
4 different answer
Different ways.
choices that are chunking, but they're not gonna say you have to solve this problem by chunking. It's not like that. It's just gonna give them a word problem
And
and.
just different methods of how to solve it.
Yeah. I know. I wanted,
And so like next week, when we really start problem solving and we start talking more about the TAPS process, they will have a day, I already told them today, I said, you all want to jump right into the solution. And I said, but if our process, that's the 6th step in TAPS. I said, that's not my focus. I want to make sure you understand the steps and you understand the problem and what it's asking and talking about. So they'll have to just represent and set up an equation. There won't be any solving.
and
we'll
that
do
usually
that.
drives them crazy.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
What's the
Makes
answer?
them crazy.
I don't care
We
what
don't
the
want
answer
that.
is.
Yes, it is.
I wanna know that you can represent it.
But it's because some of the questions are just what equation would be the right equation for this problem? How would that look?
Yeah.
What's the representation you would use? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Is there even-
And this is on the Padlet. All of those strategies very neatly are on the Padlet, not like this. So you can go back and look at them.
It will be on those shortly.
We taught them a rounding chant that hopefully they've come home and sang to you
Yeah,
a
well,
few
1,
times.
2, 3, 4.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the number stays the same as before. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we move on up that number.
And we have to get sassy.
You do.
We
And
do.
you have mean neighbors or
Neighbors or mean neighbors.
the bossy neighbor.
bossy
bossy
neighbor.
neighbor.
Well, I heard something about that.
A bossy
Like, I was
neighbor,
like,
put
what?
the next one in the bossy neighbor.
Yes. What, today,
They
yesterday?
do stick with it because she comes home saying that, yeah, bossy
We
neighbor.
did ARF.
Arf,
Have y'all heard of
arf.
ARF?
Have you heard that
No.
one yet? Always round first.
Always.
So they had a homework
Arf, arf.
form and it said about how many? And I said, if you see about, if you see
Right here.
estimate, if you see round, then you're to round your numbers, but before
You
you
do
work
the
the
operation.
problem. So you take your add-ins or whatever and you round those numbers and then work the problem. Arf, arf. Always round first.
And, yeah, I know I did it wrong. I did the A and
So we barked
They
at
don't
some
listen.
point.
Yeah, we started talking about dogs and.
They just get around to nearest 10 and 100 or just tell them?
It'll
10,000?
specify, it'll say to the nearest 10 or to the nearest 100.
And then eventually they'll get with the ARF, if there's like a number 217 and then 64, they can't round, they have to round both numbers to the same place value. So they can't round this one to the hundreds and this one to the tens.
Yeah.
So eventually they'll have to figure out, oh, well, they don't have 100 in common, so they have to round them to the tens place. But for right now, it's gonna tell them round to this place.
Just
Round
10
to
and
this
100
place.
or can be 1,000 and 10,000 or no?
Say that again?
Because
I
yesterday I
think
worked
it's-
with my daughter was
I believe
10,000.
just tens and hundreds.
For
Right
third
now,
grade?
right now, it's just tens and hundreds right now, and that's what we're on right now, when we're coming to the end of our,
Yeah, Jen said, pick a number when she had me last week, pick a number between 0 and 1,000, and I'd like, so I'd write like 20 numbers down and show me in a round, up or down, or.
Well, and it works on all of them.
To
When we
1,000
did
now,
rounding
to 1,000.
races, the rounding race was only 2 and 3 digit numbers, but yeah, I wrote 6-digit numbers up there and it's like, oh
We
my
like
God,
to
I'm like, it's
challenge
okay, it's the
them.
same
Yeah.
thing.
No,
Yeah,
I was
we're
on
rounding
3
to
digit
the
numbers, so
10,000,
just give me a 1 or 2
digits
digit
and the
number, you
10,000.
can do those
we'll
too.
do that, because they get scared, because it's like they saw those 6 digits this year, and they went, what, I can't do that. Yes, you
Yes,
can.
you can.
It's just one more place. You can do this. And so just giving them that confidence, I always say we're getting our math confidence. You know, we've got to build that
One more in
confidence.
place.
Yeah, don't be intimidated because the number gets bigger.
So you're, this is not rounded to 100, this is rounded to the 10th, right?
Tens and hundreds.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this
that
would be
one
to the
would-
tens.
This one would
Yeah.
be because it's the same,
Yeah.
you have to round to the highest
Something they
digit
share.
of the same
Yeah.
place that they
Okay.
share. But, yeah, I mean, I'm the same with Miss Marshall. I tell them, you can do that, and then after they do it, they're like, oh, well, that was easy, give me another one.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so you want a hard one? Yeah. You write a 6-digit number up there, and they're like, oh, that's easy. I'm like, yeah, it's getting easy the more you do it, you know, the easier it becomes. And all of these, it's the exact same thing. You're gonna have addition, you're gonna have subtraction, word problems. There's gonna be some multiplication back here. I know I'm already out of time, I apologize. Decomposing to multiply, I'm just gonna show you real quick. And all these are gonna be different examples of it. But if I know, if I've got 8 times 7, and your students need to know 12 by 12. So if you don't have, I mean, if you go to the dollar store and get some
When do they need to know this
multiplication.
by, because, when is it expected by?
Oh, well,
It's
they're
the
gonna,
end of the second 6
yeah,
months.
they're not gonna start until like mid-December.
Okay.
And then
So
they'll pick
practicing
back up
now.
after the
Practice-
winter
They know
break.
doubles and they know certain
Yes.
2s and 5s and 10s and.
And we do the cards at the restroom, so they know their 1s, their 2s, their 5s, their 10s. But it's just, I would go to the dollar store and just get a pack of dollar cards. Every time we go to the restroom, I'm in line with them with cards. If you're in the car, you know, just to practice.
Mhm.
But
I'm sorry,
Sorry,
we
go ahead.
introduced, I was teaching over here last year, so I'm just gonna say what we did last year. I'm not sure we'll still do it the same way, but last year, we started introducing it right before they went for the break. And then we told them, when you come back, study over the break, because when you come back, we're gonna start what's called multiplication races. And so it's
Round
taking,
tables.
it's taking
Yeah.
one number at a
Sing
time,
'em.
starting
Sing 'em.
with, I think we started 2s, we didn't do 0s and 1s, obviously. So we started with 2s and, or 3s maybe, and they had 2 minutes. They would, once they pass that one, they go to the next one until they get all the way through 12s. Then we go back and they have 1 minute, and they start all over again and go through 1 minute, and then they become experts, and they get to grade. But that's after, they do one final test of like a big sheet.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, like 50, and so then they're experts and they can help me. So, something they like to do and look forward to, motivates them to
get through. Go ahead, sorry. And it's, like I said, it's gonna come home looking like this, but it's gonna be on wood.
Okay.
We can teach them about the bracket, like 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times like 3 is 6, it can look like 2 and 6, like 4 and 6, they skip count by 2 or.
Yes. And that's one of the strategies back here,
Is teaching them,
is
that's what
teaching
that
with
is.
skip counting.
As long as they make that connection,
Yeah.
Then
that's
it's
what we're doing,
so-
that's fine.
With 8 times 7, I was just gonna, because all of these are decomposing, this is an 8 times 7 square, but if they know, like say, they know 8 times 5, so they could, should have gotten a marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go across. Then this square would be 8 times 5, and they already know, well, that's 40. And then they can just do 8, thank you. 8, no, those are stick stamps. 8 times 3 here. So it's just taking the number apart. Well, if I know 8 times 5 is 40, then I can easily do 8 times 3 and add them together. It's just showing them an array. And that's what all of this is.
8 times 2.
8 times 2.
Yeah, okay.
8 times
I'm gonna
5.
do,
8
8
times
times
5 and
2
8
is
times 2.
60.
Yeah.
oh, I meant to draw 8 times.
56.
Sorry. Should have gone this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Scratch that. It's all right. Here.
Oh, it's 7, yeah, because you thought it was 8 blocks.
There you go. It's okay. Hey,
We got it.
this is what it is.
You know what I
Even
meant,
Miss
right?
Marshall has
No, I know what you're
sometimes.
And I was telling that, I said, I purposely messed up just to see if you could
She's
catch me.
not-
I was like, you are so dumb. I was like, oh, who caught me this time?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's 8 down, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
one.
But you said it was 8 though, so yeah, so
But
just
you
did
knew,
one.
We knew what you said.
exactly what I meant.
So then you.
Now.
Now. Go for it, nurse.
Now, because now that all I. Okay, so, and then
So
this
it's how
is
big
the
the
same way, like 20 times 6, 40 times 5, you're doing your 6 times 5, then you get up to 46 times 5. You're starting with a 10, obviously, and then you move on, so 20 and 4 is 24, 40 and 6 is 46, so it's just breaking it apart when they get, but they don't,
It's making it
we don't do, I mean, they're not gonna do
No,
this by memory. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be
Gotcha.
decomposing it.
but they will be at 2 digits times 1 digit later
And
on.
like here, I would tell them do 9 times 10 or first, and then do 9 times 2.
I can take it.
Hey, about 2 minutes.
These are the same
Times
strict
10 times
diagrams,
2 and then add them together,
equations,
then it'll give you.
making a drawing, so they'll actually draw a picture when they're multiplying, skip counting, drawing a table. The array is the squares that we just had. This is an array.
That's not what I finished.
Okay, so you could even label that array. So they would actually draw it. A table is like just skip counting if it's like, I don't know, two times, but to multiply. So 2 times 3 is 6, 4, and then you have to find the rule. 4 times 3 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, is what a table would look like. It's just figuring out the rule. You know, you take your first number, multiply it by 3 to get your second number. So that's what it would be.
The other thing it says, drawing a picture this year is not circles and dots.
No.
The numbers get way too big,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids have gotten used to doing that in the past. And it happens every year. You go over and you see like 5,000 tally marks on one problem. You're like, that's gonna take you like an hour, you know? You can't do it that way, so we've got to think of a better way. So we show them other pictures they can draw.